I take a week off of filming and now I feel like I don't know how to record videos anymore. I asked on my community tab what you wanted this week's video to be on, and am I the asshole one? So that's what we're gonna do today. Am I the asshole for leaving my wife alone at Disneyland? So my wife and I are currently not really talking to each other because of what happened on the last day of our vacation. On our last day, we went to Disneyland in Japan. We had been in Japan for 2 weeks, and up until then, everything was pretty much okay. We had a lot of fun travelling around the country. We are from Europe, by the way. In the afternoon, as we were waiting in line, she asked me to tell a joke. So I told one, and that joke apparently hurt her feelings. She was upset and went quiet. I told her I was sorry, but she didn't accept my apology. She told me how that hurt her feelings and that I shouldn't be telling jokes like that. I was pissed why she couldn't just let it go and stop talking to her. The mood worsened and she suggested that we separate for a moment so that everyone could calm down. After about 15 minutes, she sent me a text message asking me to meet up. When I met her, we got into a huge argument where she told me she was sad because there is always a bit of truth behind every joke and how my joke ruined her mood. I asked her why she always felt the need to push it and that I told her I was sorry before. I told her that she was no fun to be with and got up and left the park. She sent me a text asking me if I was leaving her alone at the park, to which I didn't reply. She then called me and was crying on the phone. I asked if she could finally pull herself together. She didn't reply. I asked again, but she only asked, crying, if I was seriously leaving her alone like that and to stop yelling at her. She drove me mad. She apologised for calling. I told her, nice try, but that's not working, and we hung up. I went back to the hotel, and when she came in about 3 hours later, she didn't talk to me. She took a shower and then told me that she couldn't believe that I left her alone at the park, in a foreign country with no cell phone. Her phone died after our call. That she didn't know how to get back to the hotel. The park was an hour away. And when she finally found the hotel, she couldn't get in because I had both keys. So she had to ask other people to help her out and she felt abandoned by me. We had another argument. I told her my view and she suggested that we put the matter aside as we had a long way home the next day. We've been home for 2 days now and we only talk to each other the bare minimum. She only told me that her trust in me was broken and that family never leaves someone behind, especially not in a foreign country. That I didn't care about what happened to her. I don't think that I did something wrong. Maybe I really shouldn't have left her behind like that, but she kind of deserved it. She should have just accepted my apology and pulled herself together. So am I the asshole here? Yes. Oh, I can't do this. I actually can't do this. Why would you leave your wife alone in a foreign country? Just because she got upset at a joke? Oh my god. Am I the asshole for not ordering anything at a restaurant? I, 23 female, don't make a lot of money. While I can afford my necessities, I don't often have lots of fun money. With that said, let's get into the situation. My friend, let's call her Jane, just recently got engaged. Her future in-laws aren't in the same country as us, so my friend had never met them in person. Well, after they got engaged, they came to visit and my friend decided to have an engagement dinner so the two families could meet while the parents were in town. My friend invited me and her other friend, considering we are childhood friends and had gotten super close lately. The dinner was going to be at my friend's house. Well, the morning of the dinner, my friend's AC went out and it's summer here, so she picked a restaurant. She told me she wanted to make a good impression for her parents, so she picked a super fancy restaurant. My heart immediately sank because I knew I simply couldn't afford this place, especially with such short notice. Embarrassed, in brackets, my friend had always been well off, by my financial situation, I told her that something had came up and I wasn't able to make it tonight. She went quiet on the phone and then began to beg me to come. She said it would mean a lot to her and to help her feel less nervous. Feeling bad, I agreed to come. Here's where I may be the asshole. I got dressed up and drove an hour into the city to the restaurant. When I got there, I sat next to my friend and was directly across from the future mother-in-law. When the waitress gave everyone their menus, I didn't pick mine up and just made small talk with the people at the table until it came time to order. Everyone ordered their food with whatever they fancied to drink. When it came to me, I just shook my head and said, just water please, thanks, and smiled. Everyone immediately looked uncomfortable, and the waitress asked me if I was sure, which did make me feel a little embarrassed, and said yes before looking at my friend for her to order. I sat at the table and continued in small talk. I thought the night went well. Nobody mentioned I wasn't eating or seemed to care besides that brief moment. I thought all was good until the next day my friend texted me saying that what I did was embarrassing, tacky, and made her look bad in front of her in-laws. So now I feel bad. I didn't think it would be embarrassing for her. I figured if anyone would be embarrassed, it would be me. So I don't know. I wanted to support my friend, but I should have been honest about why I originally couldn't come and not have gone. I mean, I don't think you're an asshole, but I do agree with you that you should have just been honest of why you didn't want to go in the first place. Because, I mean, it's a valid reason as to why you wouldn't have been able to go. So, yeah, I don't think you're an asshole. You should have just been honest in the first place. Am I the asshole for wanting my wife to sell her condo? My wife lived with her sister in a condo they both own before moving in with me and having a child together. Her sister still lives there and my wife has continued to pay her part of the mortgage for the condo her sister continues to live in without getting any rent or income in return. I'm very financially responsible and I'm constantly saving and investing, and I'm setting goals in preparation for us to move into a larger house so we can accommodate a second child in the near future. My wife and her sister somehow still do not have a plan in place to exit this condo, which has made me very frustrated. She doesn't have a lot of money. I am caring covering for majority of our expenses and savings, and this is money that can be put to more responsible use as we plan for our new nuclear family's future. I feel bad for getting in between them, but as a matter of priorities, it feels like we should be focusing together on the things that matter to our family. I've raised this concern in a very well communicated and well articulated way. This is something that needs to be addressed before we responsibly bring another child into our family. We've had some emotional arguments that I've instigated and have felt bad each time. Am I the asshole? I mean, if she wants to keep paying for the condo, then that's up to her, but I don't think you're the asshole for bringing it up just in general, and just saying that the money could be put someplace else kind of thing. Am I the asshole for telling my younger brother he can't just take over our parents' property? So our dad died suddenly about a year ago. At the funeral, my younger brother was obsessed with who is getting the house and property. I shrugged it off due to the emotions and didn't think anything of it. Fast forward to about 3 months ago, and my brother calls me out of the blue and asks if I'm still okay with him taking over the property. I reminded him that he needs to realise that our mum is still alive and that it's not mine to give. I called my mum and asked if she was aware of what he was up to, and she informed me that he had already been up there about a month prior with blueprints and a loan to build a garage to move her into while he moves into the house. I asked her why she didn't mention it, and she reminded me of his big plans / no follow through personality. I called him back and told him to do what he wants, but he should probably talk to her about it first, and the right thing to do would be to buy it from her. I then told him I wouldn't be responsible for the maintenance anymore and it would be his problem. He hung up and immediately blocked me and hasn't talked to me since. No, I don't think the asshole, you just made sure that your mum was aware of it. To which I think she kind of was, but not fully, if I read that right, I'm not too sure. And then you just told him that you wouldn't be responsible for the maintenance anymore. Yeah, he just didn't seem happy about that. Am I the asshole for not wanting to pay for my husband's parking while he is at work? Husband works downtown and up until the last few months was working most remotely due to COVID. Recently, he has been needing to go in 2 to 3 days per week. Instead of parking in a paid lot or downloading the parking app to pay for the parking throughout the day, he constantly texts me his location asking me to re-up his parking multiple times a day. There is a 2-hour max. Just for some context, I also work full-time and salary-wise we make similar wages, though I make slightly more. I work in healthcare and counsel patients, so I'm not just sitting at home doing nothing. Last week, I told him it is disruptive to my work to be bothered about his parking issues multiple times a day and that he needs to figure it out. He claims the app has locked him out and then today called asking me to do his parking that was due to expire in 20 minutes. I say okay, but then forget until about an hour later, which was my fault. It was unfortunately too late and he got a $45 ticket. He also got a $45 ticket last week because he didn't tell me until it was too late that he needed parking in a certain area. He wasn't upset about the ticket, but his attitude claiming it was my fault and that I needed to pay it really irked me. I reminded him that I told him last week I didn't want to be involved and won't be involved moving forward. This caused him to go crazy, yelling, calling me names, saying I'm useless and claiming I don't do anything to help the family. He was screaming and carrying on in front of my 1-year-old about it. It is not like I am refusing to pay a couple of one-off times. It is literally multiple times per day and now multiple times per week. At the bare minimum, it shows a major lack of respect for me and my career. He is acting like I am being so absurd about this and I am really fed up. So please Reddit, set me straight because maybe I'm not seeing things clearly. Am I the asshole? No, you're not the asshole. Your husband just needs to fucking grow up here, to be honest, and learn to pay his own fucking parking bill. You did not deserve any of the disrespect that he just gave you for wanting to do your job. I don't understand at all where he is coming from, but no, you're not the asshole. He is a complete and utter asshole in that situation, and I don't know how you can even for a second try and believe that you're an asshole in that, because you're really not. Right, well I think I'm going to end that there before I lose my mind from reading these situations. But nonetheless, I hope you enjoyed and I'll see you whenever I next see you.